Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel, GLP-1 Journey in Review. Today, we're going to be talking about GLP-1 medications. Are they the easy way out? I'm Lori. This is my wife, Carol, welcoming her to the channel. We're going to have this discussion. I've been on compound tirzepatide for about a year, and I've lost 60 pounds. Carol?
I don't know how long I've been on. I've been on a few months, like 4 or 5 months, and I've lost 30 pounds.
And you started on mounjaro and went to compound because of the shortage, correct? And then back on mounjaro?
Did I go on the compound?
You did when we couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Carol is a type 2 diabetic, so she gets the mounjaro on her insurance. Do you remember about what your copay is?
It's about $290 something for 90 days.
Unless, of course, you're in the donut hole of Medicare, then I think it's a little bit more. But and in that time, we've used the compound because it's cheap. So that's who we are, and let's get on to the subject itself. So, initial thoughts on if this is the easy way out. I personally don't think it's the easy way out because they say if you just take the medication and do everything just as you are, just eat the same foods, just a little bit less, you'll lose about 7 to 8% of your weight, which for me, that would have been like 7 to 8 pounds in a year. And that's not what I was after. So I've had to change the way that I eat and my lifestyle. Any thoughts on this with you?
I don't think there is an easy way. I've tried every way there is. I lost the same 50 pounds on Nutrisystem 4 times and just gained it back every time. So
we won't even talk about our experience on what was it, quick weight loss?
Quick weight loss,
for over a year.
Weight Watchers. I even went to a medical spa in Texas and fasted for 21 days. And I lost 15 or 20 pounds, but I gained it all back. On everything, I've always gained it all back. So I think the easy way is there is no easy way.
What this medication does is it's a hormone that is produced in your gut, and it slows down your digestion and slows down the emptying of your stomach, sends a signal to your pancreas to secrete insulin so that you don't have the sugar spikes, and it sends a signal to the brain that you're full, you've had enough, and that you don't have to eat, which gets rid of the food noise and so forth. So, like I said, easy way. There's been plenty of problems with this. Like I said, it's a tool and it does help. And for me, it made it doable. Like a lot of diets, like the first thing I think is, oh my God, I'm going to be starving during this whole diet. And nobody wants to be starving. It kind of like ruins the whole thing. And especially when we were on quick weight loss, I was starving, and they kept throwing their supplements at us, like, "Oh, this will do it." And if you, God forbid, you were on a stall, you had to eat, 2 egg whites. That was pretty much all you had, except for their supplement foods. That's all you had for like 2 days until you broke it. And like, I was pretty starving, and I wasn't functioning really well. So for me, like I said, you know, it wasn't easy. This is just a tool. You found it like a tool?
I find it like a tool. It's helpful, but I think basically we've had to change our way of thinking and our lifestyle, our way of thinking about food and how we deal with it. So
and this medication helps. So obviously, at least for me, I know that I had a GLP-1 deficiency, obviously, because it's the only thing that worked. And I know with you, it might be a little bit harder because they do say that people with type 2 diabetes have a slower time losing weight. I'm not really sure the reason why, but it's a known fact. And with you also have to watch your blood sugar because it's now going low. And You want to talk about the medication you're on, including the insulin and
I had type 2 diabetes for 30 years, and I've been on a lot of uh, metformin at one time and different things, and it would go up and down and up and down. But since I've been on the GLP-1, I have a lot of other medical issues as well. COPD and arthritis.
and the steroids make your blood sugar go a little bit wacko with the COPD,
Right,
which is why you were on insulin for a while.
right. So, but since I've been doing the GLP-1, first of all, I have cut down my diabetes, my metformin to about a quarter of what I used to take, and my A1C is at a really good level. My doctor is very happy with my labs. So that's a great thing. So I think that's, making a huge difference there.
If I recall, you were on it before this last 4 months, but we really weren't changing our diet. And I see this being a lot of problem with people that I talk to because they have families and so forth. Like I wasn't on any medication, so like I was eating normal, and I do most of the cooking. So like I was just cooking normal stuff, and I could see like I have a friend at work that she's taking Ozempic, and she has to cook for her three young girls and her husband, and they're not going to want to eat chicken and vegetables, so they want the chicken nuggets and the pastas and stuff like that. And I could see how that was a problem. So I remember when you were first taking it, and you're like, well, why am I taking it? My blood sugar is still high. I'm not losing weight. Well, we weren't eating right. We weren't following it.
Right. I started on Ozempic, and I did have side effects with the Ozempic, and really didn't lose weight.
Again, we weren't eating right at that point either, because like it's got to be like a family type of thing. For me, it would be super hard to make somebody like fried chicken, potatoes and gravy, and here I am eating a piece of grilled chicken breast and broccoli. I mean that would be a little hard. I don't uh, hats off to the people that are able to do that, but in this household we couldn't. Fortunately, we're both decided we were changing our lifestyle. Um, I really decided to do that when I jumped on my CT machine and did a cardiac score, and yeah, it wasn't super high, but the numbers were higher than I'd like to. So I went to see my cardiologist, and we're like, no, your cholesterol's okay, but your bad cholesterol isn't. And, you really should lose some weight because you're pre-diabetic. So I'm like, okay, definitely time for a change. And my initial thought was, again, I'll just do it for a month or two, jumpstart the diet, which probably is a little bit kind of a cheating way of doing it. But, once I saw how well it was working, and, I had no idea what food noise was until I started taking it, and the food noise wasn't there. So it's like, nah, I'm going to do this till I get to the weight that I want. And then finding more about it, I realized that this could be a lifetime thing, and I'm okay with it. If you want another medication for life, not particularly, but if I could get it down to a real low dose, and if I could take it every 10 to 14 days, I'd be happy with that. Feelings on that is
My feelings on that are I have numerous medications that I'm going to have to take for the rest of my life for other medical issues. And obesity is just another one of my medical issues that I have to deal with.
it's a disease now. They classified it as a
It's a
disease.
disease. So I don't mind. I understand that I will probably have to take it at some level for the rest of my life. And I can do that.
Like I said, it's not a magic wand. There is no easy way. How much you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So, like you're saying now, 40% of Americans are in the obese category. It wasn't that way when I was a kid, and just a couple years old, it's about the same, close to the same age. And back in the '60s, early '60s and stuff, everybody was meat and potato. That's what you ate. And there really wasn't any fast food. As a matter of fact, I remember when the first McDonald's opened up. It wasn't in suburbs of Chicago. Wasn't too far from my house. And it was a big thing because that was like the only fast food. It really wasn't fast food back then. So, I think that plays, a big part of it. Granted, we were probably eating too much beef and too much starch back then, but, you know, we didn't have the obesity. When I went to school, there were like one or two obese people in the school, and everybody else was, normal weight. And
or slightly overweight, but I think that we also, uh, all the kids back then, we didn't come in after school and sit in front of a screen and play games. We went outside and ran around and rode our bikes, and so we were a lot
street lights went on. That's when you came home.
yeah.
They didn't have video games back then. It's like exercise. Yeah, exercise was a thing. I mean, they even had gym every day school. I don't think they have that anymore.
No,
That's kind of a shame because I think I'm not saying it's all physical activity, but it certainly would help whether you're on the medications or just some people are just battling 10, 20 pounds. And then there's other reasons like thyroid issues and stuff like that. And uh, I was never heavy until I was, 26 or so. And, basically that's when my mom passed away, whether I started eating because of a little depression, I don't know. But shortly after that, I had to have a hysterectomy because of fibroids. I don't know, maybe there was some hormones, although I still had my ovaries, but we weren't running to the doctor every 2 seconds back then. I don't know. Do you have any other problems when you were a child? I know now you're on thyroid medications because when you weren't losing, they decided to do a whole thyroid panel, and they were borderline low, so they put you on a very mild thyroid medication.
just another pill.
Yeah. One of the reasons life expectancies back then were in their 40s and 50s, and now they're like 78, 80. So medications do have some purposes. What else do we have here? So I talked about how many people are obese, making sure we're covering everything here. So I talked about food noise. Now, a lot of people are, even one of my friends at work is like, nobody's noticing that I've lost any weight. Well, first of all, it takes 10, 12 pounds before you can see a difference. Now, I actually lost about 35 pounds before people realized it, but I was wearing the same big clothes. So, I think that played a part of it. If you wear clothes that are too big, people aren't going to notice so much. Has anybody noticed you're losing weight?
Yes, I am now.
Yeah, and you're 30 pounds?
30, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it. And you did start to lower your clothes size, although you like big clothes. So, each their own. There's no shaming on this.
But even my big clothes are small. I wear smaller, big.
There's no shaming on this thing, on this channel. It's, you be you, I be me. So that's it. I think that this medication made it easier for me to change my eating habits because, like I said, I wasn't constantly thinking about food. And, 'cause- and one thing that I have noticed, which I need to deal with separately, is that I'm doing a little bit more night eating, but that's because I'm working so much that, like, last night I worked like a 12-hour shift, came home, I did my live, and, before I knew it was 8 o'clock, and, I was up since, 3:30, getting ready for work, and I really wanted to go to bed, but I'm like, oh, my poor wife, I haven't spent any time with her. She's gonna hate me. So, it's like I put a show on. I'm like, well, let me munch on something that'll help me, stay awake. So I got
Sure, blame it on me.
that's something I have to work on. So it's like, now, like when we went away on vacation, like I know I personally, I lowered my dose that week because I knew I was going to eat a little bit more, and I didn't want to, get a sick feeling or anything from it. We did pretty good, during the day. We did go out to dinner every night. Probably eat a little bit more fried type of food than we should have. And one thing what we do on vacation is, we have a little bit of ice cream every night. We used to have a lot of ice cream every night, but now, like we've what was a half a gallon and a gallon, and we were away for almost 2 weeks, and it lasted us the whole time. Just because, 2, 3 little spoons of it, that was enough. And that's the medication sending the signal to the brain. So, again, it's not a magic wand. It is a new lifestyle, and you do have to allow yourself to do these kind of things. And I think I gained like 3 pounds on vacation.
Yeah, I probably gained 3 or 4 or
Yeah,
5.
within a week, we can have like I had to
Back off.
back off because again, it's a lifestyle, and you have to do these. You have to have ice cream once in a while, or you'll never stick to it. Which is how some of the other diets I think don't work, is because you're so restricted to what you can have that how can you stay on that forever? How can I have videos out on what if you go out to dinner, what to order. Then that's a healthier choice, a smarter choice. But we're not saying don't go out to eat. Again, getting a little off topic here. Sorry about that. But so I don't know about you, but if somebody's comes up to me, I usually tell them that I'm on the medication. Especially people that work, because they work in a we have 31 CT techs over our different facilities, and 7 of them that I know of are on the medication, and that's just ones that I know of. So I'm free to tell them, but it's like if somebody would come up to me and say, "Oh, well, that's cheating. That's the easy way." I just kind of like, okay, fine, leave it at that. If somebody is a little more interested, I'll give them all the information I could. I'm learning a lot about this. Here's the link to my channel. Has anybody, asked you, like, are you using medication, or have you not come across that yet?
No, they've noticed that I've been losing weight. Nobody's really asked me.
But you're also diabetic, so
I'm diabetic, and
it is a diet.
and they quickly, if we're together, uh, they notice you more because you lost like 50 pounds. So, you've turned into a skinny mini, just a little.
Well, your COPD, you find it a lot harder to work out, and we are working on that. We are, having her do some chair exercises. She's going to be going to physical therapy to find out what she can do at home and at the gym. Because now that she's starting to feel a little bit better again, that's the thing with this medication. You lose the weight, and like, oh, I could be a little bit more active now. That's pretty cool. So I want to do more. Do you feel that way?
I do.
Good. Yeah, because hopefully when you go to the physical therapy, they'll teach you what to do. And pretty much that's how I handle it when people say, uh, you're on medication. I wonder why, like you should just, stop the sugar, watch what you eat, go to the gym. I've been doing all that, and I'm still doing that, so obviously it isn't easy. Besides, having to do the work, we've had to deal with the shortages. Like I said, for there was a while that Carol couldn't get the medication. So, we tried. Finally, we just ordered a 3-month supply of the tirzepatide compound. And she used that for a while. And once her actual medication came in, we were on the same dose. I just took over and used the compound. So that's how we dealt with that. Um, and that's pretty much it as far as GLP-1 medications. Are you cheating using them? I don't think so. Final words?
I think the most important thing is that we have, completely restructured our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, we eat, very carefully, mostly fish for dinner.
To say that as I'm about to make lamb chops for dinner tonight.
Well, once in a while, I have something. But, we're very strict about what we eat. We only eat, like fish and vegetables. We almost never have carbs. It's very rare to have any kind of carbs at all. It's just
We're having quinoa and brown rice for dinner tonight. But like I said, you have to spice things up and change things up, or you'll never stay on it. It's part of life. Yeah.
well, for the most part, we mostly don't eat, carbs. I eat like
Natural carbs from vegetables.
chicken salad and lettuce and celery for lunch.
That's your staple. Mine's shrimp and turkey
steak
loaf
for steaks for breakfast and
and a good healthy dinner with some fruit for dessert.
fruit. Yeah.
Because you got to get that fiber in there, and you got to get those veggies in there. And if we don't get enough veggies, there's a product. There's a lot of products out there, but the one we use is called 8 Greens, and it's a little tap, and you put in a little bit of water, and it's all the nutrition as if you would have had like 14 servings of vegetables. But we're pretty good with our vegetables, so we don't have to do that very often. So, like I said, it is still work. You still have to do things. You still have to watch what you eat. Still have to monitor and eat very nutrient dense foods. Working out also helps. So I don't find it cheating at all.
No.
Okay, well that's it. Please, if you got something out of this, please like, share, subscribe. It does help the channel, and hopefully we can get Carol to make another appearance soon.
I don't know.
That's it.
I'm a little